The movie begins in a dark lab where we see a person in a cryo chamber. When we look at the monitor that controls the machine, we see that the man has been sleeping for more than 17 years. Just then, an alarm goes off in the room and the cryo chamber opens. The man who had been sleeping for almost 2 decades finally wakes up. He slowly looks around and he appears to be in some kind of bunker. Later, the unnamed man opens his oxygen mask and starts looking around the place for food and water. Suddenly the monitor warns him that the pressure inside the bunker is reaching a dangerous level, meaning that he will have to evacuate soon. We then see the man getting dressed in an ultra-protective suit and grabbing some weapons. He slowly exits the bunker wearing a helmet that allows him to breathe from inside. He then climbs up the bunker and is shocked by what he sees. The Earth has been completely destroyed by a nuclear strike. All the building and any sign of life have all been annihilated. There is no sign of humans and it is raining heavily. Radioactive elements in the rain will kill any living thing. Everything around him looks very early and the man begins to think leaving the cryo chamber was a bad idea. The man continues hoping that something or someone will be out there. As the man walks around, he gets a message on his monitor telling him to go to a secret location. The monitor indicates that the place is about 10 kilometers away and will take him a few hours to get there. The man decides to get to the location as soon as he can. The idea of not speaking to anyone and being alone for the rest of his life fills him with fear. On the way, he comes across several abandoned cars which have probably been lying there for years. With the severe radiation, their color has almost all come off. Everything looks so lifeless and the man becomes depressed. Still hopeful of finding life, the man continues walking with his gun in his hand. Soon, he reaches an old destroyed-looking building which looks like a former government office. The man goes inside trying to find something useful. All he finds is a red telephone which doesn't work. It appears like anyone there must have left a very long time ago. The man walks out and continues with his journey. While staggering along, he notices that his monitor does not have any signal. This worries him as he doesn't know where he is going any longer. He has no choice but to continue in the hope of finding someone soon. The man begins to lose all hope and begins to get confused. He is not sure whether it is best to go on or just give up. He has spent 17 years in the cryo chamber, which has had a very bad effect on his mental state. Suddenly, his monitor starts beeping. It shows that he is in a safe environment and the air is clean. The man becomes extremely happy and is filled with joy. Without wasting another second, he takes off his mask and breathes in the fresh air. He loves the feeling of the rain falling on his face, something he has not been able to do for a very long time. He is sure to savor every second of that feeling. Suddenly, the man receives a message telling him that someone is just 205 meters away. The man can't believe this and gets very excited. He quickly picks up his belongings and runs towards the location shown. As the man runs, there is a desperate look on his face, and when he gets there, he is devastated to find only a helmet. Whoever it belongs to must have died a long time ago. He discovers that it was a radio nearby that was sending him the signals. The man loses it and begins crying out loudly. Later, we see him taking the helmet to a nearby place and gives the owner a proper burial. Even though the man is totally distraught, he still has the humanity to give the man who died a proper burial. He also gets down on his knees and says a prayer so the dead person can finally rest in peace. Next, we see the man get up and continue with his journey into the unknown. A few hours later, he gets to a town and comes to a house that has been destroyed. He gingerly goes inside and finds pictures of a family. It turns out that the house belonged to the man himself. In the picture, we can see his loving wife and their dog who have been dead for a long time. The man stares at the picture and starts crying, filled with grief. Later, the man continues walking through the town which has been badly destroyed by the war. He soon comes across some posters on the wall which again talk about the war and how so many people died. The man is so hungry at this point that he has no choice but to eat some dog food. The man tries to go about his normal day, which includes shaving using an old broken mirror that he found. The rain is pouring down hard and suddenly, his monitor turns off as the battery has died. The man is absolutely demoralized by this and his hopes of getting any help have been crushed. The man begins crying, unaware what to do next. Later, we see the man climbing to the top of the tallest building in the city. He decides that his only hope is to fire a flare gun, hoping someone will see it. He then fires it into the sky and waits. Nothing happens, and at this point, he decides that he can no longer cope and decides to finish it all. Suddenly, someone fires a flare gun back and the man is overjoyed. The man leaps down from the building and starts frantically running towards from where the gun was fired. When the man finally gets close to the location, he notices a helmet sitting on top of a car. The man decides to watch from afar as he doesn't know who is there or if it is just a setup. He then picks up his rifle and cautiously makes his way towards the car and sits back. Suddenly, He hears a gun being loaded from behind him and turns around. There he sees a woman dressed in the same clothes as him pointing a gun at him. Both of them do not know each other and clearly, they don't trust each other. Both of them just stare at each other trying to figure out what to do. The two soon realize that it's just them left in the world, and without saying a word, they both begin to lower their weapons. The last scene shows them both looking at each other thinking about what they need to do together to survive in this world, and the movie ends there. You guys are awesome if you have made it this far in the video. If you want to see more of such movie recaps, hit the subscribe button to become part of our movie family.